Do your worst.
What up, pimps? It is Quinn here, and we are back with another Black Ops 4 Zombies video. And today, we are going to be discussing what I found to be the most insightful and interesting piece of information that I was able to glean from my discussion with Jason Blundell and Craig Houston after the Black Ops 4 world reveal. I have been hyping this up all week, but I really wanted to do the topic justice because we had a really insightful conversation about exactly this. And we're going to talk about all of that in just a second, but before we get into it, if you could drop a like on this video, I would really appreciate it. Let's see if we can make it to 1,000 likes on today's upload, because I have a lot more to discuss when it comes to Black Ops 4 Zombies. While I was preparing for the roundtable discussion with the two of them, I really wanted to come up with a question that wasn't likely to be asked by another creator, and something that would help me gain some insight into certain decisions that were made throughout the lifespan of Black Ops 3, and how they plan on addressing those same decisions moving forward through Black Ops 4. One of the community's biggest complaints following the end of Revelations was the lack of answers to many important questions, as well as the huge lack of a conclusion that felt like it really paid off. I didn't necessarily think it was a bad ending, but I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I consider myself more of a gameplay guy than a storyline-centric player, but I still was slightly frustrated with the ending of Revelations, not because it didn't give me what I wanted. In fact, I think the ending is fine, but leading up to it, there were many plot threads that had been opened up throughout Black Ops 3 and even previous maps, namely Origins and Mob of the Dead, that had been outright ignored and left to theories and speculation, and the long wait until the next game. The comics and especially the timeline helped immensely with putting things in place, but there are still a lot of open threads, unanswered questions, and full-on subplots that feel as though they've been completely forgotten by the writing team or just outright ignored, and I really wanted to take a chance and ask Jason and Craig why that is. I mean, who better to ask than the co-studio head of Treyarch and the lead Zombies writer? I knew if I went in only asking details about things they plan to announce leading up to release, I would either get a short cryptic answer or just no information at all, and to be fair, a lot of the questions that were asked during the round table were given exactly that. Very quick answers with a little bit of truth hidden in there somewhere, but very little concrete information. But when I asked the two of them about why certain questions players have been asking for years have yet to be answered or even addressed, and if Black Ops 4 would in fact finally give some closure to certain plot lines, I was shocked by how in-depth the two of them went. They both went on for about 5 minutes each and really put my mind at ease, because I was convinced that at this point some of those things had just kind of slipped their mind, and they may have not even realized that some members of the community were still hung up on knowing these things, but that was definitely not the case. It was very clear from both Jason and Craig that they are very deliberate in what they choose to answer and what they do not. Craig specifically spoke about Revelations and the timeline and said he had seen the community's reaction to a lot of things that had been a mystery in the Zombies community for so long. Yuri being confirmed to be the Pentagon thief, Broken Arrow being the ones to create the Denizens and the Avogadro, Leroy being the servant to King Arthur and DE, questions that had been asked all the way back to the release of Black Ops 1, and he said he really felt that either players were just unhappy that things weren't answered the way they had already imagined, or they were happy that their own theories had been confirmed for about a second, and then they moved on almost instantly. The reason the Pentagon thief, all the Broken Arrow information, and Leroy all went over so well is because many people already had that answer in their head, and Treyarch confirmed it. Craig went on to say at that point in time he didn't want to answer every question, because the second all of the answers to those questions are out there, there is no mystery involved, and the mystery is incredibly important to everything Zombies has built. I specifically asked if players going into Black Ops 4 with old storyline questions would be pleased with the story they're trying to tell, and Jason said absolutely. Every map they craft and create, they put a lot of thought into exactly that, and I will admit about halfway through the Black Ops 3 season, I had really started to wonder if they had any idea where they were going or what they were doing with the story. At that point in time, maps like Mob of the Dead were essentially a huge question mark, and in many ways Mob of the Dead is still a huge question mark, but there are more unanswered questions stemming from that map alone than any of the pre-Black Ops 3 Zombies maps, and we can only assume that Blood of the Dead is going to clear a lot of those things up. I mean, if an actual remake of Mob of the Dead doesn't answer those questions, I'm afraid you may never get the payoff you may be hoping for. That being said, I do completely agree and understand where Craig is coming from when it comes down to retaining the mystery that has always surrounded the Call of Duty Zombies storyline. if you take that away by giving definitive answers every step of the way, you take away a lot of what makes this story fantastic. But at the same time, it's not a good feeling thinking they've completely forgotten about some of those threads, but luckily, it seems like that should not even be a concern for any of us. I do totally understand that it's different without talking to those guys yourself. It's just not as easy to see, but I can just absolutely assure you that we are in good hands this year. It's clear that both Jason and Craig absolutely love what they do, and you could really tell that while the two of them seem very excited to tell this new story, they were not letting the Aether storyline fall to the wayside at all. I think a lot of players are or were worried about exactly that Blood of the Dead would end up being a one-off experience in Black Ops 4 to play on our nostalgia and get us to just buy the game in the first place, and then ending it there and moving on to the new storyline, which, while that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, it would have definitely been disappointing, and I think it would have really made some fans angry. But Jason assured us that the DLC season would keep fans of both storylines happy. I know Reed specifically asked about Victus and if we would possibly see that crew moving forward in Black Ops 4, and Jason said something to the effect of, "I think we might have something planned for the fans of the comic this time around." And personally, I would love to see the Victus crew make a comeback. I know some people aren't the biggest fans, but I think just one map would be great, just to see them again outside of the comics. I would like to play as them again, but I also wouldn't be too shocked if we see them in Blood of the Dead. In fact, I wouldn't be so sure we're playing as Primus on Blood. Treyarch is known for their misdirection, and I would say there's a decent sized chance another crew is going to be involved. With the rumored zombie season pass, it sure as heck sounds like we're getting 2 zombie maps for DLC, one for the new and one for the old, because at this point, the zombie season pass is all but confirmed, and if they plan on selling that bad boy for $50, which I would be really shocked if they don't, they're gonna have to fill that multiplayer void with more zombies. Whatever that may be, they're gonna have to fill it with something, and I really would imagine they're gonna keep that price point of $50. Maybe I'm setting myself up for disappointment, but every leak, every hint, and every dev comment, as well as the lack of a standard season pass for pre-order, which is pretty damning, has pointed towards a zombie season pass. We are getting Blood of the Dead, Voyage of Despair, and 9 as our standard edition maps, so I am really expecting that we will get a small pre-order bonus map to incentivize us to buy the season pass in the first place, more than likely Nuketown Zombies reimagined, and each DLC will include a map for both storylines, and assuming that happens, it's going to be a fantastic year for new and old Zombies fans. There is something for everyone here. If you're a great player, a garbage player who needs to play on easy mode with triple health to get to round 7, a fan of the old storyline with an open mind who's ready for something new, or a cranky old fan who just wants more of the Aether storyline and nothing new at all, Treyarch has you covered. I mean, you can be rest assured that they are not forgetting anything and are far more aware of the community than you may think. I know I personally was very surprised with how in touch they were with every single facet of the community. But guys, that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it and could drop me a like, I would really greatly appreciate it, and comment down below if you could have one gun from past Zombies games make a return, what would it be? I know for me, it would be my boy the Executioner from Black Ops 2, although that may be a long shot because I don't think it's the fan favorite that I may hope that it would be. I also would like to take a quick second to promote our podcast that I do with Rad Austin 27 and Johnny J 25. We did just launch a Patreon with a bunch of great rewards, so if you want to get bonus episodes or even be a guest host on the show, be sure to sign up for that. The link is down below in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.